welcome to 2x4 Hardcore, Episode 19, Promises Kept. I'm your host for 2x4 Hardcore, also known as Idaho in Ordering Chaos. In case you guys haven't noticed, there have been a couple of microphone issues the past few episodes. You may have heard a buzzing, and it's actually affected some of the conversations I've had. I had to cut some parts out. But I actually was able to find a new cord and fix the microphone, so everything should be a lot better now. And I hope I didn't hurt your eardrums too much, but I just wanted to give a little update on the microphone issue, and hopefully you won't hear that buzzing sound again. So anyways, this episode is going to be having two different guest stars for Ordering Chaos. The first one is going to be a reprisal of the tank interview that I had on episode 10 that I promised you guys, and hopefully you'll think that's substantial enough. So the second thing that I'm gonna have for Ordering Chaos is a conversation with a guest star on the first tips and tricks that I'm gonna be having on this series, and that'll be part 1 of 2. On episode 20 I'll show the rest of the conversation that we had. And in season 2, I'll have more tips and tricks episodes as well. After that, I'm going to be showing gameplay of various games like Infinity Blade 2, Batman Arkham City Lockdown, which had an update, a little bit of Combat Armed Zombies, and finally, I'm going to be talking about 2 different games which are getting updates. One of them is Modern Combat 3, which just got a major update, which helped out the game mechanics a lot. And the other is Galaxy on Fire 2, which is getting an update in a few months. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode, and without further ado, here's my conversation with a tank. So today I'm going to be talking with a tank, and a few episodes ago I tried to do that, but I didn't actually have a guest star. But today I have a guest star for you guys to talk about Guardian spec, gear, and dungeon tips.
Hello guys, my name is Moonlight, and today I'll be showing you how to build your tank spec and other stuff that can help you out.
Alright, so first of all, what is your current spec? Like, what are the numbers for Guardian and Battle?
Pretty much the best you should get, it's for tank, 33. And for battle, 21.
And what skills do you recommend for new level 60s who want to tank in dungeons? You can just name the main ones that you recommend and why you chose them.
For tank, I recommend you to get Fearless. It helps you out a lot, gives you 3 seconds to prepare. I recommend you to get Tough Guy. It increases your block. Go make it 5-5. So you can have 15 block. Make sure you get Guardian Stance. It reduces all your damage taken for 50%. And Slap Shield. It keeps your aggro. Make sure you have all those dodge effects like Sidestep. And for buff, a Learning Shout and Vital Shout that increases your life by a lot. And make sure you get Calm. It's a skill that reduces all your moral by 10%.
Why exactly did you choose to be a hybrid warrior and with mostly a tank spec?
Pretty much because if you become a hybrid, you can do both. You can get both out of this. You can be a tank and you can be a battle, meaning that you can do high damage while being a tank, or you can like change between dungeons, so you can do faster runs, or max protection. You can have these two combined, which are really fun. For example, for battle, skills you should get are Offensive Shout. It's a skill that buffs your attack, let's say like by 200 attack power, so that really helps you out. Get Cleave 3-3, because you want to take aggro all the mobs. It helps you out. If you critical, let's say normal spec, normal gear, you will be like 1k. That's pretty good. Some other skills you should get are Sonic Slash. It helps you keep aggro, and it's on the battle section, and it helps you keep aggro, so it's like a tank skill too. When you have a lot of mobs, you should get Thunder Shout, which pause the mobs so you can make the monk have opportunity to heal you, and you win that easily.
You said you're a hybrid tank, so what gear do you have? Do you have a mix of Guardian and Battle gear?
What you want to get, it's let's say you have 6 out of 6 epics for your gear. What you want to do is have 4 stable strong. Let's say this could be your helmet, it could be tank, your arms, your legs, and your boots. They could be the 4 tank ones, and for DPS you could have your chest and your shoulders, which will increase your hit and your attack power.
Okay, so when you're tanking, it's important to try to get as much crit as you can, but at the same time getting dodge and parry, correct?
Yeah, correct. What you want to do is you can switch between 2H or like a shield. But I prefer you use 2H and have defense, because the 2H helps you increase engine run much faster.
Yeah, so like bosses like Kermode, you use the 2H, and because that one isn't really that much of a danger. But for like the dragon, you use shield and sword because he does a lot more damage, right?
Well, let's say for Komodo, if you have someone that's pretty pro,
yeah,
and you're pro, same way, you can use a 2H, right? But if you feel like you're pro, yeah, but I mean, like, you want to keep it safe, just use the shield.
Yeah.
It'll help you a lot. The shield, it reduces all your damage, and sometimes it helps you dodge something that the sword doesn't do. Sword mostly helps you parry, but you still get more damage than usually.
What general tips do you recommend for tanking in dungeons? Would it be switching off gear in between bosses, or mob pulling, or what?
Okay, let's say for mobs, you want to have high critical, because you want to do this fast. Since for mobs, you can use you can change fast while like auto running. You can change your gear in way and put it all critical. But when you get to bosses, you can change it back while auto running to the boss. Like, let's say you can put all your tank gear, but make sure you always have 30 hit and up. So you cannot fail to swift strike, which is really important. Or if you have a shield, you can slap shield. Or if you have, let's say, 2H, you can Sonic Slash, which will help you keep your aggro. But while shifting change gears, make sure you do this while auto running.
And also, being a healer, I know that for the Executioner boss in Noswa's prison in particular, we switch off between him, the tank, using Guardian stance, and me using Prayer Pure Faith. So when you're a tank, you have to know when the proper time to use Guardian stances as well. If
you want to do the mobs, you can just make sure you have tank gear, of course, because you don't want to get killed in the way. You don't want to die, because if you die, you know you will fail and everybody will die too. But what you want to do is just put all your tank gear and make sure you put your activate your skill, which is called Alert and Shout, so that this will help you a lot. Or keep your parry at 2%. They'll last 30 seconds, so mobs won't hit you in the way. And like when you're about to like stop to a stopping point, you'll have to use Guardian stance, which it will keep your protection and reduce your damage to half. So while the mage gets in place to barrage, you can use your Thunder Shout, which is in the battle section, which helps a lot. Pause and mobs too. It helps the mage.
One more question I wanted to ask was about leveling up as a warrior. Do you think that for leveling up, you should go Battle or Guardian, and why?
What you want to do is, to make this more easy, you can be a tank, because the bosses, you're going to need Guardian stances, they're hard.
Yeah.
And if you're probably doing solo, you're probably going to have to Guardian stance once in a while to defeat some of the bosses you're trying to fight.
Uh-huh.
But let's say, if you do battle, you can just keep dungeons and keep using pots so you can like gain your health back and kill the monster faster so you can level up.
When I was leveling up, I went battle, and it went a lot quicker because I just used the health pots, and it was a lot easier than trying to use a sword and shield when leveling up, and it went a lot faster for me.
Yeah, if you're like battle, this will help you a lot. It will reduce your time. But if you want to keep it safe, you can always go tank, and you can always keep it slow, but it's still pretty good. You're still pretty much enjoying being a tank. Because you like being a tank, you barely die, and you know people don't want to die. Like, so it's. Like choose, it's between like two, it's 50-50. You can choose which one you prefer, which one you want to be fast or you want to be slow, safe. It's just what you prefer.
Alright, so I think that's pretty much it for the tank discussion. So thanks for coming on the show today, Moonlight. Hopefully we can do something like this in the future and talk more about tanks and warriors in general. So for Ordering Chaos discussion today, I'm going to be joined by a guest star.
Hey guys, it's me, bnatesgamer. If you guys know me, I do Ordering Chaos videos, I do tips. I'm working right now on a Let's Play, and I'm glad to be here today to talk about a few topics today.
The first tips and tricks that we have is farming for gold in Ordering Chaos. Now, I'm mainly a Divine Monk, so I don't typically farm for gold, but when I'm on teams that are farming for gold, like they have a mage or something, that's a good way to do it if you don't have a mage or even a warrior, because warriors are good gold farmers. But mostly when I'm farming for gold, I try to find rare items and sell them, and the best place you can find this is the Elemental King, or usually the level 60 mobs, like the Shadow Prince mobs. They drop some rare items. So you want to try to find blue items that can sell on the auction house, or even some green items that are rare. Like I know that water gear sells for a couple hundred gold if you find the rarest kind. So if you need gold to buy items or recipe for soul gear, I recommend trying to find blue items from level 60 mobs.
Yeah, well, what I do for farming is, that's a good point, getting rare items and stuff. But just for me, I go usually to Far Strider Outpost, which is I think the bottom right, bottom right in Rift, and I think Gameloft has lowered the drop rate of like green items. I'm not sure, but I guess it was too easy for farming or stuff. But there are skeletons there that you can kill like with usually it's better with a warrior because you can just gather a bunch of them. And they usually drop a lot of greens, but you know the drop rate has gone lower, and if you get those greens and you sell all of them, I got like before the update and stuff, I got about maybe 15 gold for about 10 minutes. It was pretty good. So that's just one place I know.
Are you talking about the one with the ghosts near Far Strider Outpost?
Yeah,
that's a good one. Another one near there is the orcs. Those drop like 15 silver each, I think. And with a couple hours of farming, you could get a substantial amount of gold from them.
Those guys, and also the elves. How do you say that? Thieves still elves.
I say Thistlevillas.
Oh, there's
yeah, I remember at one point before, I think the Airstar's Temple update, gold farming was pretty much useless because I think almost no greens were dropping. It was only silver, or like the really unrare items that were dropping. And then with the Airstar's Temple update, I think they upped the amount of green drops once again, because I've been seeing a lot more of them since there were basically none dropping. And I've even seen some blues now, especially at the witches. I think 3 blood moons have dropped at the witches, but I mean blood moons aren't even worth that much anymore. But it just shows that Gameloft has increased some gold farming and they're trying to fix the economy a little.
And those guys, I haven't really farmed from those guys yet, but what you're telling me with, it's just, I don't know, Gameloft's they're just trying to like lower the drop rates for some stuff, which just is, I don't know, some people are getting mad, some people are like a little happy because, you know, there's too many people with so much gold.
But then again, I mean, there's epic rune gear now, so you may not need gold necessarily. But I've been actually buying a lot of water gear recently because it's really good in PvP. So gold isn't really a necessity in the game right now, but there are a few different ways you can still get it.
Yeah, probably the things that are most like just going around ordering casts right now are runes and souls. You know, if you have rune gear and you use souls, you just get a bunch of souls, you get epic gear, and then you have to use a ton of runes to get all these symbols or essences, or you can just dungeon bosses to get them, but most people buy them now. There's just lots of people with epic gear now. My monk is right now 4 out of 6 epics, so it takes a while, but still.
So the second topic today is about guilds. I ran a guild called Last Stand, I think in August, and we got up to 240 members because I had a bunch of admins and they helped out a lot. So I think that guilds are a really important part of the game because you can find dungeon teams, you can do PvP, you can get help on quests. And in my guild Last Stand, we did a lot of giveaways each week to keep people interested. And we went to Vegas Square a lot, and that's where the game gets really competitive because guilds like to PvP against each other and form alliances, and Gameloft hasn't released PvP arenas yet, so we had to be creative with it. And PvP wars are really fun because of the competitive aspect and that you're fighting another guild that you're enemies with or whatever. I think without guilds, probably the game would be dead by now, but luckily they released guilds on day 1, and since then there have been a lot of guilds that have been formed.
Yeah, you guys probably want to have like a good sense of direction for your guild, because if you really want to start like a big guild, like there are just all these big ones, like Vengeance here. Yeah, Vengeance is one. There's one called Vengeance, and they have a lot of members, and just it's good to have all your friends and stuff to join your guild and just build up a lot, because I started my guild maybe in December, I think, Kings of Chaos, and that didn't turn out so well. It's kind of dead right now. Maybe has like 15 people. So I wasn't really clear on making a guild, but just to let you know that you want to just, if you guys want to get bigger and bigger, you guys, you want to get your friends to be admins and just tell them to invite some people.
Yeah, and when you're recruiting, I don't recommend spamming global chat because that will make people ignore you and it'll make your guild look bad. So when I was recruiting, I found level 55s and 60s, and I talked to them directly and asked them if they wanted to join our guild. Some of them were already in guilds, and they would either say no or they would ask for more information about it. And when you give more information, you can tell them all the pros about the guild, and it can convince people to join. So I think that that's the best way to recruit a lot of people, is talking to them directly. Alright, so that was part 1 of 2 with my conversation with bnates, and on episode 20, I'll continue with that conversation. Alright, so now I'm gonna get into the gameplay part of this episode, and as I said at the beginning, I'll be talking about games like Batman, Infinity Blade 2, and even Modern Combat 3, Combat Armed Zombies, and finally Galaxy on Fire 2. I hope you guys enjoy this part of the episode, which is just me showing gameplay for the end of season 1. So yeah, here's the segment. So the first thing that I wanted to show you guys today is the new Batman Arkham City Lockdown update. Now, I wasn't expecting an update for this for a while, but it looks like the company took the initiative, Warner Brothers, and they came out with the first update for us. So this update brings a new area. This area has 3 different levels. There's 2 regular levels where you just face 4 or 5 different enemies and you just have to take them down, and you get Wayne Tech points which you can spend on armor and abilities, and you can increase your level. And the third thing they did is, of course, a boss fight, and this one is with Harley Quinn, which is the newest boss that they added. So basically in this update, you have to try to save this reporter that was captured, and you have 2 minutes to defeat all these enemies and then beat the final boss, which is Harley Quinn. Now all of the enemies are level 24, and I'm only level 13 at this point, so I actually wasn't able to get to Harley Quinn, but I got pretty far after I mastered some of the different enemies. So there's a bunch of different ones. A lot of them still have the Joker mask, and there's some refurbished enemies from the game, but there are some new ones as well. So basically you have to try to get them out as fast as you can, and these enemies are easier than the other ones on the other 2 levels. You have to try to get them out as fast as you can, so you have to do combos, use your special abilities to get them out as soon as you can. And I think what's expected of you here is to try to get all the enemies out within 10 seconds each, just about. Some of them are easier, like there's one where he does a few punches and then you can do a finishing off move within the first 5 seconds, so that's helpful. And there's other ones that have a lot of health, but they do a lot of moves too, so you want to try to distract them with tear gas or bats and try to block all their moves. So I recommend trying to level up and getting a higher level, because then the enemies will obviously be easier. I was able to get pretty far, but at the end I had like 5 seconds left and I couldn't get anywhere close to Harley Quinn. But I do know that the final boss fight with Harley Quinn just involves you throwing a little knife at her, the bat knife thing. So yeah, if you are high level, you should be able to do it in 2 minutes, but if you're not, I recommend getting some new skills and trying to level up. So I think this is a really cool expansion, and I really hope that in the future they add more expansions like this, and this is proof that they probably will, with new bosses, new different modes like this 2-minute countdown thing, and more. So in the future, if they add an update, I will definitely talk about this game more on the show. So last week I told you guys that I'd be showing the final Infinity Blade 2 gameplay. So right after you beat the level 100 boss, you have to make your way back through the castle to his room, and you're going to take a passage to get to the boss that you faced before, but now he's a level 125. Now don't let that intimidate you. He's not as hard as the level 100 boss that I showed before. So he doesn't take that long to take out. He does some special moves, but you should be able to get him out fairly quickly. Once you beat him, you can finally unlock the little area that you've been trying to unlock the whole game, but you keep dying and starting at the castle. And it's like a little elevator, and it leads you down to a room with some godlike guy, and you'll find out who he is in a second. But in your way comes that same guy who you thought just died, but he has less health, fortunately. And when you're about to finish him off, then this godlike guy just finishes him, and he says basically, yeah, that's it, that's the final life you have or whatever. And it turns out that this guy is the Worker of Secrets, who you've been trying to find the entire game. So the Worker of Secrets tells you that he needs to be freed, and the only way to free him is to bring back the God King. And that's the final enemy from the last game, before expansions of course. So you make your way back to where you started at the beginning of Infinity Blade 2, this little Asian temple place, and there's no bosses at this point. So you basically just walk through and it says, God King, I'm gonna wait for you or something. And the next cutscene shows the God King and a few of his disciples showing up. And the God King gets his disciples to try to beat you. And they're actually fairly hard. But they can be hard because their attacks hit really hard, but they don't have tons of health. So once you beat the first one, there's another one that comes, and that one's more of a ninja-like guy. And once you beat that one, there's a third one. Once you beat him, then the God King challenges you, and he's like, yeah, I've killed you many times, and you've come back and killed me before, but let's just pretend that that didn't happen, and let's fight again. So you have to face the God King once again. I'm not really sure what happens if you die during this battle, because I haven't died in the 2 times that I've beat the game. So you have to face the God King again with your normal armor, and he's not that hard to beat. You basically just have to dodge a lot and use your shield if you're a sword and shield kind of guy. And he takes a little while to beat, but you should be able to get him more easily than you were in the first one, in my opinion. That may be because the gear is better in this game. So finally I took him down, and you don't actually kill him, you just knock him out. And it shows your character bringing the God King to the Worker of Secrets, and apparently the Worker of Secrets needs 1 Deathless, which is what they're called, to replace him in that chamber. So the Worker of Secrets takes the Infinity Blade and they stick it in a hole, I guess. It unlocks the passage for the Worker of Secrets to leave. And it turns out that he backstabbed you, and you have to stay down there with the God King while he gets to escape and create an army of bad guys. And that's pretty much the game. Then they roll the end credits. And finally, they show the girl that you were acquainted with at the beginning of the game, and she's going to the castle. So it looks like she's going to save you or something, because at the beginning of the game, if you remember, she saved you from the God King. So I guess in future expansions they're gonna add more content, like you're gonna have to face the Worker of Secrets and his disciples, and maybe you and the God King will team up and that girl will try to help you escape or something. I think this whole series has a lot of great lore, and I love the story, but the gameplay is definitely a lot better because the story gets confusing at times. So I'm hoping with updates they'll add new bosses, new weapons, new mechanics for the game, etc. That's all the Infinity Blade 2 gameplay I have for now until an update, and hopefully I'll be able to show more of this in Season 2. Alright, so the final game I'm going to show gameplay of today is Combat Arms Zombies. Now, on episode 16, if you recall, Miss Constru, aka Nekades, was talking about how he liked combat arms zombies. So I went ahead and picked this game up while it was on a 99-cent sale. So this is a first-person shooter zombie game, and as far as I can see, it just has a campaign mode. It's a fairly good game so far. I haven't played much to the campaign, and in this gameplay I'm just showing you the first level. So you start off with two different weapons. One is a machine gun that has limited ammo, and one is a pistol that has infinite ammo. I use the pistol a lot more and only the machine gun when I really have to. So basically what you have to do is fight off these individual hordes of zombies, and they appear one at a time. This is using Unreal Engine, so the graphics are really good, and so is the gameplay. So you have to try to get through as many rounds as you can in the campaign mode. If you go into the area where the zombies spawn, you'll die, which is what happened to me. So I don't know a lot about this game so far. I'm hoping that there is actually a survival mode. I'm not sure about that though. And maybe in the future, if I like this game a lot, I'll show it more on the show. But for now, that's all the Combat Arms Zombies gameplay I have. So last weekend there was an update to a game that I talk about on the show a lot, which is Modern Combat 3 Fallen Nation. Now this update added some new content. Some of the new content it added was new equipment and a new skill, which is Stabilizer, and there's also another skill, Privilege. I went ahead and bought Stabilizer, and it's really helpful. In my opinion, I like it better than the health boost right now. Some stability that they added was they fixed some of the experience loss that people have been having, and also people have been becoming level 1 again. So this update actually made it so that you're the current level that you're supposed to be, and that issue was addressed. Also, they eliminated a lot of the cheating. So people aren't able to use hacks anymore, most likely, and they can't hack the leaderboards, they can't get tons of kills and throw invisible grenades and such. So that's a really important part of the update. I'm really happy that they did that. Also, one problem was that the match lobby refreshed like every 2 seconds, but now it refreshes every 8 seconds, so you actually have time to look at some of the matches you have, and you can see what mode you want, what map you want, etc. Also, they fixed a lot of crashes and connection loss issues, and that's really important because I was crashing a lot and losing connection randomly during the game, so I really like that. Some balance they added was XP and credit rewards are increased now. That's incredible actually, because it's getting hard to level up when you get to a higher level. So now you get almost double XP for your kills and your streaks. So that's really awesome. I'm glad that they added that. They rebalanced some of the weapons like the OPS 55 and the ACM. They fixed some of the sights like the iron sight. They fixed military support and made cooldowns for the military support and the limits per match to reduce hacking, and that's pretty awesome. They fixed airstrikes, they balanced the accuracy of firing, they increased the sensitivity, and they balanced the recoil. Some other bug fixes that they added were teleporting respawns. When you were respawning, you'd be killed immediately by someone right next to you, so I think that's what they mean by they fixed that. They also made the invite and join friend feature functional, and that was a really big problem I was having. When I was talking with Root-L the past 2 times when we were playing Modern Combat 3, we couldn't get into a match together for a while, and we actually had to join the same match on the public servers. So I think that this is really good that they fixed that. They fixed a few more bugs, like C4 was missing before. They fixed that, which is really good. Silencers and flash hiders have been fixed, and that's pretty much it for all the bugs. So I think this is a really cool update. It doesn't have a lot of content per se, but they're actually doing bug fixes. And this is really surprising for Gameloft because usually they just add content and ignore the bugs. Like in Order and Chaos, they usually just add new content and never address any of the bugs or balance anything. There isn't really hacking in Order and Chaos, and by hacking I mean hacking the game itself to get better gear. But there is hacking accounts, of course, which they still haven't completely fixed. And the reason that the Modern Combat 3 got bug fixes and such is because it's a different development team. And this development team has been on the ball for Gameloft since day one. They've been adding a few different updates to fix bugs, and I'm confident that they'll add more content in the future. So this is a really great update for Modern Combat 3, and I'm hoping in the future they'll have more updates to add content. If there's more bugs to arise, they'll fix that, and more balancing. So that's all the Modern Combat 3 I have for you guys today. And the final thing I wanted to talk about is Galaxy on Fire 2. So this is an open world space game, and you have to upgrade your ship, mine for ore, do different missions, etc. It has a 10-hour campaign mode. Now, I really love this app. I played it a lot, and I did a lot of the missions. I got ore, upgraded my ships. This is a port over from PC, and I told you guys a few weeks ago that they're adding a new content update to Galaxy on Fire, which will add new content like ships, missions, etc. So I don't really have any gameplay to show you guys for now because I have all my progress on my iPod and not my iPad. So over this month break that I'm taking for Season 1, I'm going to try to progress in Galaxy on Fire 2 and maybe show you guys some gameplay of it. And when the update for it comes out, I will definitely be showing that. So if you don't have this app already, I recommend getting it. I believe it's $7 in the App Store, and it's a really fun time. It's great graphics, great gameplay on the iPod, and I'm sure it's much better in the iPad. So I definitely recommend Galaxy on Fire 2. Alright, so that's the episode for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next episode, I'm going to be finishing up my conversation with bnates. We're going to have one more tip and trick, and I'm going to ask him about what he thinks will be coming out in the 1-year anniversary update. After that, I'm going to be announcing the logo contest winner, which all of the entries have been submitted for, and I'll talk about what Season 2 will be about. So I will see you guys this weekend for episode 20.